Welcome back to Mountain Connections. I am here with Rachel Buhler from the Park City Chamber. Very excited to talk about a great season. I actually heard a rumor, I don't know if it's true, but this might be a record-breaking season. So I'm curious about your perspective of that.
Well, yes, let's dive right in. It certainly has been. I mean, the snowfall in terms of last year was still ever so slightly above, but there's a very good chance that we could meet it or surpass it. So in terms of snow, we all remember what an incredible season last year was, and certainly it feels like the sentiment is the same way for this year. So I think it's pretty safe to say that, yes, we're at least on par with it. And then in terms of lodging, we're seeing the guests continuing to come, but that's pretty standard. When you have a really great snow year, you see the following season really reap the benefits of that because people just have that base in their memories that, oh, they had such good snow the year before, let's make sure we make it out that time around. So economically, we're really profiting from such an incredible past two seasons, really. So things are really nice for us.
Well, that's very good to hear.
Yes.
When you look at Sundance, were those numbers also looking good?
They definitely were. It seemed like in town, it's a combination of, us patrolling the traffic flow and monitoring the bus systems and being a little more strict about where and when people are allowed to be around town. So I think much of town really felt a little less pressure. We felt not as congested, so that was good. I think overall attendance seemed like it was down, but when you looked at lodging, it was exactly the same numbers that we have every single year. So somehow we got something right, that it didn't feel, a little bit overcrowded as it sometimes does, but we certainly did very well for ourselves this season again. So it was a great 2 weeks for us.
Yeah, that's excellent to hear because it did feel like there were less people. So I'll be interested to see what comes out as we reflect back at the film festival, because it's good to know that numbers were up and that lodging did see what they were hoping to see.
Absolutely, that's exactly what we want.
Absolutely. And the Chamber supports businesses here in Park City. Last week you had an economic update luncheon. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yep, so we like to meet with our members once every few months or so, about 3 times a year. We have these bigger gatherings where we invite our members to sit down with us and we kind of review what the numbers are looking like. And this past one, it was a chance to really sit down and see how the winter has been for us. And then, now that we're nearing the final stretch of this winter, what exactly does that mean? And it was just incredible to see that, again, in terms of lodging numbers, that's really our biggest indicator. We look at what those numbers are for 17 resorts, or 17 hotels, we kind of look at those numbers and see what they are. So it's an opportunity, again, to say, we're just over halfway through the season. Things are going really well. Are they staying on track for what we like to see in terms of economic profitability? And the numbers are there. We're seeing it, and actually it's really outstanding because January and February have very consistently high occupancy numbers in our lodging. It's usually never at 100%. I think that's a misconception. Usually when our lodges are full, it's more of that like 80, 85%, because a hotel doesn't actually want to be booked at full capacity. You have to make sure that you have the ability to make any changes that come up last minute. But what is really stellar is that the month of March, that one is a little bit challenging to predict sometimes because it's spring break month for schools, primarily like elementary and high schools around the country. So you kind of see those folks coming in waves depending on when those dates land. And it seems like sometimes you can give it a good prediction, but when you actually see the hard numbers, that's when you really can kind of give yourself a pat on the back. And we are seeing that the March numbers are up about 10% almost every single day. In the first weekend of April, now that the resorts are open for the first 2 weekends, that first weekend is just skyrocketed up, which is really good because that's the last real push to get the value out of all the hard work that our businesses do. And then the last weekend of the resorts pretty typically tapers off, and then we see that down period that we all deserve so much. So that's also consistent. We are seeing that, yes, there is the decline just as we want it to be, so that we can give ourselves a little break towards the end of April and into May, right? But in terms of really carrying through the rest of the ski season, things are looking better than ever. So we're very, very happy with that.
And March, as I mentioned in weather, is actually one of our snowiest months. So that might come as a surprise, but that's great as people plan their spring breaks and
Definitely.
plan to come at the end of the season.
Right.
It should be good weather, should be good snow. That
Really
makes
want to go out with a bang.
everyone happy
Yes.
here in town.
Yes, absolutely.
But you're already looking forward to spring and summer.
That's right. So we are always a step ahead of the game here. That's kind of how you have to be when you're thinking about your marketing plans, your communications plans, all your outreach efforts. So for us, we already have our summer marketing campaign ready to go. And hopefully next time I'm on, I'll share a little tidbit of what we're doing for that. But that has been in the works for the past few months already. Pretty much as soon as the winter season starts, that's when we actually start thinking about our summer. So that's going really well. And then our group sales team, they also are in full force right now. They're hardly in the office. We don't see them a whole lot because they're out at trade shows and conventions and seminars, spreading the word about Park City to try and fill in the gaps for our down season. Because again, typically immediately following and immediately before the ski season, that's when we see that little bit of a lull, which is good, and we need that. And we're not trying to make that as full as the rest of the year seems to be, but it certainly does help to have some volume coming into town because, again, that's what our businesses really need. And you can't just rely on the locals to keep everyone up and running because there's not enough of us. Really, we are a small town in the scheme of things. So, yeah, our office is just in full force. So it's crazy, you know, you're talking about the snowfall coming down, and we're looking out the windows and seeing the snow coming down, but then we're actually thinking about the bright sunshine and the warmer temperatures and all the recreation that you can do outside of the ski season. So,
Well, I know local businesses appreciate the chamber always being a step ahead because you need to have that foresight. But before I let you go, there's a couple upcoming events
Yes.
to help the businesses here in town.
Exactly, yes. So we like to do a few different events each month that people can look forward to. We do have a newer one coming up though. So March 5th, the first week of March, we have a speed networking event. So it's kind of like our business after hours, but it's a little bit different in the sense that it's kind of similar to a speed dating setup where you have people sitting in chairs and then you're rotating through, and it's an opportunity to actually meet other business owners and just you can each talk about what your businesses do because you never know when your business is going to find a solution to help someone else with theirs or vice versa. So that's going to be at 5 Seeds, March 5th. And we will later in the month have a business after hours. That's not till I believe the 28th. So we will keep that consistent as well, but something new to try that I think people will really benefit from. And then the second event, that's a lunch and learn program. So we offer the lunch. We do ask for people to RSVP just so we know how much food to get, but that's going to be a really fun one. It's on Instagram for your business. So social media is ever changing, and I think it can be very daunting for people. So we have an actual Instagram professional coming in, someone who really knows how to use social media as a platform for businesses. And even if someone has a little bit of knowledge or a lot of knowledge, I think you can always learn more. So we welcome beginners to people who feel like they're pretty confident with their social media presence to come. And that is March 18th. That's a Wednesday, so about a week and a half after our speed networking. So.
And what an incredible resource. I know that will help a lot of businesses. Thanks so much, Rachel, for
Thank
being
you.
here. Always appreciate the update, and it's nice to get a window into how businesses and how tourist is going here in Park City. Visit parkcity.com for more information about all the upcoming events and businesses here in town, everything you need to know. They also have a great events page, so make sure to go to visitparkcity.com. We have more coming up right after this.